You're tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network, featuring news, interviews, and commentary on all things Black Hollywood. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live, Geek Nerd Tech, featuring a weekly roundup of tech news and gossip. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host for Black Hollywood Live, Geek Nerd Tech.
Are you serious? You went to the LP?
Call it the Afterglow.
No, you turned it up on us? Welcome to Geek Nerd Tech, the show we do. Sorry. Welcome to Geek Nerd Tech, the show we do tech news and nerd culture from a black and brown geek perspective. My name is Joe Braswell. I'm joined as always by my man Achilles Shine. What's up, sir?
What up, man?
How you doing?
I'm good, brother.
All right.
Yes, sir.
And I'm joined by DJ Alexis.
Hey, everybody. How's
it?
Hi.
There you are.
Yeah, I'm here.
Did you have a good 4th of July weekend? I know I caught you on Periscope, Alexis.
Yeah, I caught Joe creeping up on me in my bikini in Periscope.
I was like, what's happening over here? Yep.
But I will say, though, I was having a good time. So it was nice
Good.
having Joe semi-virtually hanging out with me.
Yes.
Was that the first time you used Periscope?
No.
Okay.
I use it all the time, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thing. It was the first time Joe actually hung out with me.
Gotcha.
I was like, oh, that's Alexis. What's going on here?
Yeah.
How about you, Achilles? What'd you do?
Yeah, man, it's chilling, man. Just took a couple of days to go to Palm Springs, get some sunshine, man. But it was good.
Okay.
What about you? How was your 4th?
It was good. On the actual 4th, I did nothing. Nothing. On Friday, I went to 4 parties on Friday. That were good from about 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Nice.
And then on Sunday, I went to a pool party at the Standard downtown LA.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Afternoon Delight. It was fantastic, and that was about it.
Wait,
Hey.
that's the name of the place that you were at? It was called Afternoon Delight?
That's the people who throw the party. It's kind of like a collective of DJs and party
that's
throwers.
pretty awesome.
But
Where was my invite?
Yeah, it was an RSVP only situation.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not important enough, apparently.
You didn't hit me up. You X'd me off Periscope. You hung up on me.
Whoa, I had to go. I had to do things. Gosh.
I was kidding. So, but let's get through this. We start doing this on a Monday today because we weren't around Friday, obviously because of the holiday. So we're gonna get through some quick stories and just get out of here and get you prepared for next Friday, which will be on time. I want to talk to you about Achilles, Apple, the Apple launch.
Yeah.
I've been checking it out actually.
Yeah.
And I've got my own reviews. There's been a lot of think pieces, a lot of reviews. I mean, on all the things. But have you checked it out yet? Have you been fully? Have you downloaded it?
I've downloaded it. I've checked it out. Yeah, I have.
Okay, well, let me give my thoughts first, and I want to hear yours. Well, Alexis, have you checked it out yet? Beats One, okay.
No.
Well, I like what I hear. First of all, it's broken down in a few components. The Beats One radio,
Right.
I actually like. I
Yeah.
like the Beats One radio a lot. I like Zane Lowe. I like the other cats. I like the diversity of music. I like the fact that it's always on and something always good's happening. I caught them on Friday, I think it was. And they had a bunch of my hip hop folks doing some good shows. Like Q-Tip had a show at Abstract Radio. He was
Right.
live mixing and talking. My boys Run the Jewels had RTJ Radio.
Oh, gosh.
Oh,
That
snaps.
was dope. And
That was not.
You're so hating on Run the Jewels, man. I'm not. But yeah, so that was good. And yeah, so I enjoy that part of it. I'm not quite sure of the rest of it, the sort of Spotify-ish.
Right.
It's a little clunky in terms of the ways when you hear something on the radio, you should be able to just click it, add it to your playlist, or click it and favorite it.
Right.
But it's like it doesn't quite get that mix between. It promises the mix between Spotify and Pandora.
Right.
But the application is not quite there yet. What are you saying?
I mean, I feel like if you're juxtaposing it with Spotify, I feel the user interface is a little better. I think it's cleaner.
better,
I think it's better. It's more inviting. It's the navigational aspects of it are better.
It takes the best of Beats and then best of iTunes.
Exactly,
puts
and
it
mashes
together.
them up, yeah.
And when you're doing that, sorry, Spotify.
Exactly.
Spotify's good. It's not going to hang out.
It's not. So I mean, yeah, I hear what you're saying in terms of that, but I mean, like I said, if you're juxtaposing it with the other competitor, I think it still has more advantages.
Right.
So but I haven't really listened to the radio stuff yet. I just more so listen to just music, just going through the interface. But I haven't had that experience to see how you synergize the radio elements to like a playlist stuff. So I really can't touch on that.
Right.
But I think the social connectivity aspect of it, I think would be a little bit better than Spotify, obviously, because people, it's an Apple product, it's an Apple software on an Apple product, so you already have the community. Like it's kind of like it leads its way for more social interaction.
It's what we talked about before. I mean, like, you know, you put this out, this platform, and all these Apple devices, and you and I have Apple devices like crazy, like 3 or 4 Apple devices each. So, like, I mean, integrating this into our already existing system and ecosystem already helps us. So
Right.
I trust Apple to sort of work out the kinks as they always do.
Yeah.
I think that I don't know, like, it's the first time. I hate to say this, I'm having my Spotify doubts, man. I'm like,
Oh man,
am I gonna have to get rid of Spotify?
you are. You're going to get rid of Spotify because it's not worth it. And I'm just reading here, like, man, iTunes already has 1 billion users. 1 billion users.
Yeah,
They're gonna just merge right over to Apple
Right.
Beats. Like, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, but the more it's already giving me everything I want, and I'll give them the 3 months for free. After the 3 months, I have to make a decision. I have a sneaky suspicion I may be saying goodbye to Spotify.
You are. Unless Spotify has like the sleeper. Unless they're holding out on something that's really innovative
I
and
don't
dope.
think I hope that doesn't involve them merging with like Microsoft or something like.
Oh, that would be a bad
the
look.
X Spotify or
No.
some Xbox Spotify.
No.
That would be horrible.
That would be a terrible
Zoonify.
No.
Something horrible. And well, Alexis will have it because she's all in her Galaxy. But I don't. Yeah, so I will see. I'm looking forward to what you know, how this evolves and what happens to Spotify. Speaking of which,
Man, I'm sorry.
go ahead.
I'm just thinking just of like kind of the point I just made earlier. Like, just think about, you know, on your computer, on your phone, on your tablet, it's already going to come with Apple Beats. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like versus Spotify, you have to like download it to your device. It's already integrated.
Yeah, they're pushing the boulder uphill already.
Exactly.
The only thing Spotify has going for it has like a 4-year head start.
That's it.
And 4.5-year head start, whatever it is. And they've got a lot of users,
Yeah.
and they're pretty ubiquitous at this point.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've been using pretty much since day one, and I'm very happy with it.
Right.
So I don't know. Only the power of Apple could lure me away. So,
Man.
I feel bad actually.
I feel bad too.
I feel bad because I'm ride or die for Spotify, but I don't know what to say.
Hey,
You don't need them both.
I don't feel bad. Actually, no, think about it.
Especially when I port all of my Spotify playlists over to Beats.
Right.
The last thing I will say about Beats One Radio, which I like about it, is they're really taking advantage of and really doing this. They're really taking advantage of the worldwide radio thing,
Yeah.
which is really cool. I mean, I like the idea of it because radio is so regional.
Niched, right.
Regional is so regional. I mean, in this country especially, it's
Yeah.
like, you know, LA radio is so much different from New York radio and Chicago radio and Florida radio and Atlanta radio.
Of course.
It's been like that way forever. So there's no American radio station,
Right.
And obviously, but in the UK, you know,
They're more open format.
open format.
Yeah.
You know, BBC One, BBC Radio. So I think they're taking that attitude and approach and using that. That's why they got like 3 BBC guys,
Right.
You know, and gals, and brought them over, and I like that approach to doing a world music approach. And it's sort of like saying, like, you know, look, you know, we're only one small piece of the puzzle here in the United States. We are some of the culture leaders.
Yeah.
We're one small piece of the puzzle. So to be able to expand that out, and the way they do their music and mix, it reflects that. I think it's really progressive.
I think it's progressive too. I mean, and obviously, you know, the cliche that music is the universal language. Like, I think that's how the format should be. It should be
Right.
open. I think you should get a taste of all different types of things and how it's blended and how it's weaved together. I think that's an additional layer of creativity. So I feel like, yeah, that's smart. And how people listen to music now. I think we were having this discussion offline, like before, like in the late '80s, early '90s. Like you were one type of guy.
Yeah.
You know, so versus now, you could be many type of guy, a multi type of guy. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I think that in my 40s, I think that it sort of represents how I like to listen to music as well. Because Zane Lowe, who's a guy who's close to my
Right.
age or my age, he's their main guy, and he's spinning, like, you know, he's famous for obviously his interviews with Jay-Z and Kanye and Eminem.
Yeah.
But and knows hip hop backwards and forward. But he came out of the gate spinning like Talking Heads and new stuff and alternative stuff, and then went to hip hop, then went deep cut hip hop, then went underground, and it was all over the place. And it's just this idea of like, what Beats sort of promised, which is this curated experience.
Right.
So I trust Zane Lowe. Zane Lowe's telling me what to play, what to listen to. Like, I trust it. You know?
To that point, like the thing I'm curious about is like when we talk about curation with content, like now I feel like we're in a landscape where it's either it's an algorithm versus a person that does have similar taste that's doing it. So like, I wonder how much of Apple Music is an algorithm versus like a person actually dictating what that curation is going to be.
Well, it's both. This is what allegedly is so brilliant about it is, so the Beats One Radio represents the live curation. That's why they're able to have their 3 set DJs. Then they have these guest DJs like Run the Jewels did like 2 hours, and they were great. I know it was in them. I was like, this music is all dope, and it was like RTJ Radio, and I was like, RTJ, Killer Mike LP, and I was like, oh wow. And then Q-Tip came on, and then Q-Tip be DJing, and he did like a live 2-hour mix.
That's dope,
and it was dope. Like in Q-Tip, he's doing like reggae stuff. He's dropping in like old school hip hop. He's dropping in jazz. Like his sets are really eclectic.
So are you saying then on the flip side, aside from the radio, when you actually go into the app and then you search for an artist,
yes,
and then that's the algorithm part where it recommends artists?
So when you go in, I don't know if you've had that portion where it's like, what are you into? It's like if there's big bubbles that pop up.
Yeah,
like,
that's the algorithm.
Yes, that's the algorithm.
Yeah.
So there's that part where you can do it by specifics, like Pandora, like these are the songs I like. Make a radio station based on this, and then it learns you from that.
Exactly.
Or you can be like, these are my genres, hit the bubbles, country, pop, whatever, and then it starts to build your profile from that. And it learns you over time.
Right.
Or you can go, what's Zane Lowe listening to?
Right.
And then Zane Lowe's playing stuff, and
it'll take a stream of that thought.
As Zane Lowe's playing it, you can hit what you like.
Right.
And it'll be like, it'll make radios match it up from what
Right.
Zane Lowe's playing already.
Yeah.
So now that's the part that works, but it's a little clunky.
Yeah.
It should be a little, and I'm guessing he'll fix that up.
Of course.
That's dope.
That is dope.
Because Zane Lowe's he's playing stuff you don't know.
Yeah.
It's like my man, oh my god, like Westwood in the UK too is another cat plays music like that. But my man, oh my god, I can't remember his name. Anyway, another cat in the UK who is really known for like dropping incredible stuff. His name escaped me right now. Anyway, all right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's that. So speaking of Spotify, very suspiciously, when Beats launched, Spotify had some problems. If you tried to cancel your Spotify, it was like, oh, our services are down.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a coincidence.
Yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence at all. I think I actually went on Spotify this weekend and I couldn't get on it, and I was wondering what the hell was going on.
Right.
But I wasn't trying to cancel. I was just trying to get on.
Right.
But it was buggy. I couldn't get into the interface, and so I think that's very interesting that they did that. I'm wondering why. I'm wondering what the strategy is. I mean, obviously they don't want people to cancel, so hey, maybe try to like create more of a gestation period. But like people, that's going to make people want to cancel anymore.
Yeah.
So like, why would they do that?
I don't know. I think there's a real fear there because them losing subscriptions. But even if you try to unsubscribe, it's like one of those moves like MySpace used to be. Cancel my account. Okay, you can cancel if you sure. Yes, I cancel. Okay, you double sure.
Like
yeah,
5
sure.
layers of canceling.
Then it's like, okay, your account will be canceled in 48 hours. Come on.
We'll notify you.
You notify you.
Right.
Like, anyway, yeah. So we'll see how that plays out. I don't know. But yeah, Twitter's blowing up. People went to really on Twitter, really going at it. So it's kind of a really bad PR move on their part.
That's super bad. So that's an epic fail.
Epic fail.
Yeah.
All right. So this is now I want to move on to this other story, which is interesting to me about this the iPhone S, the iPhone 6s leaks, and the iOS 8.4. This is article in Forbes talking about just sort of like the state of Apple in their launches and the leaks, and sort of saying some of the stuff promised in the 8.4 feels like it's not going to be what they say it is, and then supposedly there's some the iTunes 12.2 is also having some cloud music issues, and lastly, the iPhone 6s leaks, which I'm missing out on, are another problem. It seems like it makes you wonder when these leaks. Do you really think these leaks are
legitimate?
Yeah,
I do.
I mean, okay,
why don't you think they are?
it just seems like such a PR move. Every single time, every single iPhone release over the last 4 years has been like somebody caught my dude had one in a TGI Fridays.
Right.
He had one at CVS. It's like, how does that happen?
I mean, I think we covered this maybe a couple months ago. I think some obviously are integrated with the whole marketing push. Like, we're going to create this leak to create noise and conversation about, the product or whatever. But I think some are legitimate, like a true leak. Or some of the geeks out there who are like thirsty for it will investigate. Maybe some of it's salacious and full of lies, and maybe blown up with some falsifications. But I think some of them, most of them, are true.
Right.
Like, so, and in terms of this, like being a leak, every time there's a software update, it's buggy.
Yeah.
Every time, there's going to be some problems, and you have to wait a few months before it's actually a smooth process. So, I mean, this doesn't surprise me, especially with
the major changes.
Yeah, exactly.
We're talking about major changes to the whole like cloud music ecosystem, to the whole iTunes ecosystem, the way those devices where they go back and forth, they communicate back and forth. I mean, like this is all relatively new, and
right.
I mean, Apple always gets it right. And Apple pretty much is great because they have that active. It's like an Apple commercial right now, but they have those active fixes. So like you get active updates. So like you may get an update the next day,
right.
Update 2 days later, update 3 days later. So it's fine because they'll always fix those bugs. So I trust Apple. I mean, they haven't really steered me wrong yet.
Yeah.
Even in the Tim Cook era, they haven't really steered me wrong. So I'm okay.
It hasn't been no major bomb fuck ups. So it's
let me ask you, like, how do you grade this? Is off book, but like, how do you grade the Tim Cook era so far, like post Steve Jobs?
I think he's doing a great job, to be honest. I mean, I'm kind of like not. I'll say he's doing a great job up until the Apple Watch. I'm not sold on the Apple Watch.
Yeah,
I feel like he hasn't hit a home run with that. I think the potential for him doing that is there. Like generation 2 or 3, we'll see. But in terms of everything else, like I think he's done a great job in terms of being a good CEO, how he's marketing products, like the consistency, and just like really going into the marketplace and facing his competitors and like going at their necks. Like I feel like in terms of him battling Samsung or Google, like he's taking strong leadership, and a different type of leadership than Steve Jobs, and he's expanded the company. He's brought in major revenue.
Yeah.
So.
And what's on the horizon, and we know what's on the horizon for the next 2-3 years is this Apple TV integration. So, which they've been working on is Project X or something for like, even in the Isaacson book on Steve Jobs, they talk about like that was Steve Jobs' next thing, and they've been hinting about it with Cook for a long time. I really think I read something else that how and why it's coming, and I really do believe it's coming. So, I mean,
answer your own question. That you think he surpassed Steve Jobs as a CEO in terms of, it's definitely a different style of leadership. Do you think it's a better style of leadership for the company?
Well, it's interesting because he's faced with a different world. Like the world, you touched on some of the things. He's faced with a world where he has, look, Steve Jobs had to contend with Microsoft and Bill Gates, which was no rough thing. But then Steve Jobs had bigger ideas. He's like, I'm going to take on the music industry. I'm going to take on, devices, as you know, and I'm going to take on phones. Hey, phones, I'm going to take that on. So, there's stuff that he did that was, sort of changed the way that we think about, consumer electronics, changed the way we think about music, changed the way we think about our culture in general. The things Steve Jobs, and his teams implemented really changed the way we do everything. The iPad, I'm going to, so these things that Steve Jobs did were just, I say, way more innovative.
Right.
So his place as the sort of the Benjamin Franklin or whatever, the Edison of our time is held. But Tim Cook is more of an active CEO, and I think what he's doing is he has to stave off the Samsungs and the LGs and still the Microsofts and still these other places, and all the people who are trying to perfect on what Steve Jobs already did and come in and take it. He has to not only defend that crown by batting off all these other fools, and then still staying on top, but he still has to innovate on top of that. Yeah. So so Spotify comes up, he's batting that back down. All these Galaxies come up and all these new phones, he's batting them down. Tablets come up. Microsoft, the Surface tablet, he's batting them down. And now television, he's trying to innovate into that world. So absolutely. I think it's almost. When it's all said and done, I think that he's a great successor, but it's hard to say he's surpassing Jobs, because I think what Jobs did culturally is just can't be done again. He's transformed how we do things culturally through technology.
He was like Michael Jackson. We'll have great entertainers, but we'll never have a Michael Jackson.
Right.
I put Steve Jobs in that category, but I feel Tim Cook, I feel if he's successful with the platform stuff, like this Apple Music and whatever other platforms they create, I think it might be a different story. I think he might feel differently because I mean, I would say Steve Jobs is more hardware product, like physical, tangible things, and that's his era. Versus Cook, like it's more zeros and ones, like a platform stuff that's like not really tangible, but you interface with it. And I feel like we'll see more of that type of development more than ever as we progressed in our humanity.
But don't you think don't you think that's more of a symptom of where we are in terms of technology? Because right now, devices are done. Now it's really all about how the software and the integration and the AI and how we integrate. So that's kind of like where the innovation is within the making the machines like interact with us better, as opposed to making the machines in the first place. Because I just stand by what Jobs did. He's like, oh, you know that thing called the radio, that thing called the CD player, that thing called the record store.
Yeah, never mind.
I'm going to change that with this thing called the iPod,
the iPod,
yeah. And same thing with the way he revolutionized laptops, the way he revolutionized tablets, the way he revolutionized.
But to that point, the same that this still can be revolutionized. This is something that's a hard product. This could be created so that it's something that we see in something that's implanted in our brains, that we able to have this computerized technology within our anatomy. That's the future. Or the virtual reality stuff. Like I think Apple's gonna get in that game too. Or even like you said, I don't think you said, but in terms of like the car stuff, like coming up with a drivable car or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I think Apple's gonna surprise us with stuff that they haven't had any penetration. Pause in.
Right. It's all right.
Yeah, that was a bad word.
It's
any penetration.
That's my pool party yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
But all right, let's move on. So Netflix.
I hate you.
Netflix is. This is a small story, but it's of note. Netflix Chicago subscribers are going to pay a little bit more. They can pay like a little $9 tax.
Taxing that ass.
Due to the city's 9% tax to streaming services, due to Chicago's entertainment tax.
How dare they?
Which, I'm not mad at it. Chicago's known politically for doing a bunch of,
Man, they better
shady
get out of
stuff.
here with
that. They play hard politics. But I believe Chicago as a municipality is always way ahead of the curve on how to sort of run, how their city is run.
Let's look at the South Side and say the same thing.
Okay, never mind. I'm talking here. It's a good point. They're also one of the progressive cities around, and simultaneously one of the most segregated cities in the country. Yeah. Like I don't know how that is, but and also a liberal, democratic, progressive, high tech city that is still super segregated and racist.
Yes.
How's that happen, by the way?
I don't know.
I don't know how that happened. I like Rahm Emanuel. Anyway, so that they have an entertainment tax. Look, anytime you see these kind of taxes, not get political, it's a city's way to figure out how to generate more revenue to pay for stuff like schools and education on the South Side. So I'm all for it. I mean, I don't think it's all going to go in Rahm Emanuel's pocket to buy more cigars and shiny suits, but I don't know.
You got to think this tax is only going to generate $12 million worth of revenue a year. That's not that much amount of money. I feel like it's kind of greedy in a way. Like, hey, these dudes is making money with Netflix and Hulu. I gotta get a piece of that.
You feel like it's a shakedown?
I mean, in a way, it's like, man, like okay, like 12 million. That's what you're raising for it. Like, is it that serious to impose that upon people that barely have tablets and barely have Apple TVs and whatever internet, the basic internet? Like, come on, like you're making the entry level a little bit more steeper for a lot of people that don't have the income for it at all. So I think, and in that sense, like it's creating more of a digital divide. So for me to be able to have access to Netflix, I don't have to pay extra money versus in a different city, I wouldn't.
Right.
I don't know about that.
All right. Well, we'll move on from there. I agree. Jaunt, 360 virtual reality camera system. I'm not really sure about this one. I think this is sort of like what, trying to prepare people like you and I to be able to create content for things like Oculus and beyond. I guess what this is. Yeah. I have no idea on this camera. I mean, you're a camera guy. I'm not. I do know I think this is a thing that the new Lincoln Park, but Fort Minor video was shot on. They shot this crazy Fort Minor video in Venice where you can control exactly what you see on all your devices, so your iPad or your phone. You can swipe around, 360-degree view. I'm sure if you watch an Oculus Rift, you can just you can look around and see what you're doing. Yeah. I imagine this is the technology that's shot on. I don't know much about it. What do you think of this stuff?
I mean, essentially, it's an advanced GoPro. It has 16 lenses to capture images, and like you said, it provides a 360-degree image or perspective. And yeah, I mean, I think we've seen this technology. We went to CES and saw something very similar to this. I forgot what that product was called, but I mean, this is not a new technology. However,
It's called Fly 360.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
A 360 Fly.
However, what's dope about this one is that each lens shoots 4K. So obviously, you're gonna have crisper image, higher quality image, and then it shoots 60 frames per second. So it's getting a lot more information than say a camera or lens, a camera that only shoots like 24 frames or 30 frames. So I feel like for the virtual reality creators. Like this is maybe like a cool camera to get into to create your own content. But in terms of it being like a sophisticated film camera, not really.
Right. I mean, what would it take? Would it take really? Would it take? I was gonna say, would it take sort of higher quality? Because you call this like a glorified GoPro, which is kind of like a diss.
I mean, it's an advanced GoPro because it has 16 lenses versus just one.
Right.
So I mean, and that's what's providing the 360 view. But I mean, I think it's kind of gimmicky unless you're in the virtual reality world. Like, what would I need to use it for other than that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't see the advantage of it. So, like, you're marketing this product to a very small group of people.
Okay. All right. Well, moving on. One company that still continues to innovate and is still doing things. It's kind of fun actually to report on this stuff, to sort of watch what Google and Facebook and Apple are doing, and even like Amazon to a certain degree, because they're always innovating and always trying to figure out ways to sort of like, either intrude or make our lives easier. But Google's is getting into the ride-sharing business with a new carpooling app from Waze. Now, Waze is the traffic app that people are really starting to use. Most savvy people use. I use it every day. I love it. We also know that Uber is pretty much dominating the rideshare game. I mean, no disrespect to Lyft, but Uber is pretty much dominating the ridesharing game internationally now at this point. Uber they're offering things like Uber Food, delivering food and delivering other products. One thing Uber did just add, I think about 6 months ago, is this carpool function. I don't know if you use that.
Yeah.
This is really more popular in San Francisco, where it's an active culture of people like anonymously almost ride sharing into the city.
Absolutely.
Like I have friends that they just go up to a spot and get picked up.
Hey.
And then just don't. And the etiquette is like you don't talk to the person. You just go over the bridge.
Yep.
And
Done
they drop
deal.
you off, and it's a done deal. And and you use it to be able to ride in the carpool lane over the bridge.
Yep.
So that's a real deal. So Google is getting into this world with Waze. I think it's a good idea.
I think it's a good idea too. I mean, because like obviously, Uber is very similar to Google in the sense that both names are used in our lexicon for anything. Like it's the Uber of this or it's the Google of this.
Right.
Like so, I think they want to be able to get a piece of that attention. So. Yeah, and in terms of the disruption tactic that Uber displayed through, killing off the taxi industry through this new way of transportation and interactivity, I think Google is positioning themselves because they already have a network, they already have the best analytics for information. Like they have this app called Waze that they spent $1 billion on. Like
great.
So, why not invest more money into this and do it in a way that's a little bit more unique or different, and so I think one of the things that's different is that it's not an on-demand service. It's like it's like a schedule, and then you plug into that schedule.
Right.
So I don't know like how that is an advantage, but it is a nuanced difference. It is.
I know it's going to be a hit in San Francisco. Do you think it'll work in cities and maybe even New York, but in LA, where it seems like you need to be car sharing and ride sharing, but no one ever does.
Yeah.
People just stay in their cars by themselves and don't carpool. So, do you think it'll ever tie like public transportation is not even taking off here? So, do you think this will take off in LA?
I don't see it happening in LA.
Yeah, we're such an insular car culture,
But LA is unique in that sense. Most cities are very unlike LA in that sense.
Yeah.
So maybe other places, it'll be a hit.
Yeah. All right. So moving on. Getting some nerd news. And this will be the talk of Comic-Con as well. Black Panther. I think they announced this a while ago, but they've cast probably the hottest young African American actor out there right now. I mean, of course, my man David Oyelowo is killing it, and my man Chiwetel Okorafor is killing it as well. Two British Nigerian cats, but Chadwick Boseman, just a good old fashioned American.
It's my dude.
Like he played James Brown, he played
Jackie Robinson.
And now he's playing Black Panther.
Hey, there it is.
The first black superhero. I'm cool with this.
I'm cool with it too. Sign me up.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking like Captain America: Civil War is shaping up to be a huge movie.
Man, it is.
Like
It
it's really
is.
shaping up to be like almost like an Avengers situation. Because it's
Seriously.
like,
It needs to be.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that the comic book series is such a huge, like Civil War itself is just so huge, and the story and everything about it is so ridiculous. Like it would be dumb for them to dumb down the movie.
You're
it
right.
feels like
you're
it,
right.
but it feels like it needs like Civil War almost needs like 2 movies or something.
It probably
you know?
will. It'll probably pull like a The Hobbit kind of situation where it's like a 3-parter.
Stretch us out
Yeah,
again.
because it's such a huge, huge story. But but what's interesting is in this movie, obviously you're introducing a whole bunch of cats. I mean, it's
Right.
obviously Captain America and Iron Man are sharing a double bill in the movie, which is cool.
Yep.
But then within that, you're introducing my man Black Panther, and it's like 3 more heroes you're introducing in here.
Well, I mean, it's just
So-
like with like Justice League coming out, like people are like freaking out because it's like, oh, it's gonna be Batman, Superman, and then Wonder Woman might be making an appearance and all this
Yeah.
other kind of crazy crap. So
Well, Batman versus Superman's getting a lot of work done too. They're introducing Wonder Woman and Aquaman,
Yep.
and Lex Luthor.
Yep.
All in one movie. So you got Batman and Superman in one movie already. Then you got to figure out. This is right. This is where I'm going off track a little bit, but this is what concerns me about Batman versus Superman because that's a lot of story. Because
Yeah.
if you tell me right now. You got to tell the story. And that's also a very famous storyline in the comics.
Yep.
If you tell me like right now, you got to tell the story of Batman versus Superman and how that plays out. I'm like, okay. And then you tell me, oh yeah, by the way, we're gonna introduce you to Wonder Woman. And I'm like, oh, you got to introduce us to Wonder Woman. Okay, then we're gonna introduce you to Aquaman. Oh, you got to introduce us to Aquaman. So you got like I got to go under sea and figure out who Aquaman is. I got to somehow go to the Amazon and see who Wonder Woman is. Meanwhile, I got Batman fighting Superman and Lex Luthor too. Like that's a lot of movie.
That is,
I feel
that is-
I feel like what they're gonna do is when they say introductory, I always think of it like a college course where they kind of just not like shove everything at you, but they're like, okay, this is what this introductory class is. So this is what Wonder Woman is, and then we're never gonna talk about it until the next movie,
Well,
just to save for time. Personally,
that would be smart. I just hope they don't try to get into an origin story with Wonder Woman.
No, I don't think so.
Because the movie's coming, right? And so
Yeah.
the movie's coming, and it's shooting. Well, it's going to be shooting directly after this finishes.
Yeah.
The Aquaman movie, I think, is coming as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but
I just feel like they're doing too much too quickly. Personally.
yeah.
But that's
DC
it's just high fan demand right now.
well, DC's really trying
a good
hard to
point.
catch up to Marvel, so they're
They're-
just throwing it all
and
out
that's
there.
that's
spending a
the
shitload of
problem that
money.
I have is that, I mean, again, not to get too off topic, but I feel like DC shouldn't be trying to play catch up. They should they're doing well in
stay in their own
TV.
lane.
Because
Right.
Marvel, even though they're doing well with Agents of Shield and Agent Carter and stuff like that, but Flash, Arrow, Gotham, like those are like triumphing through
Yeah.
TV ratings. And I could be wrong. Maybe Marvel is doing
I mean,
better
and
there,
may-
but I know.
hopefully Supergirl will do well for them as well. We'll see.
I mean, I'm hoping for the best for
Right.
them, but like, just in general, I feel like them trying to like overstep their grounds there when it comes to movies. I feel like they're going to fail personally.
We'll see. A lot to get done, and also don't forget about the Suicide Squad, which is also
That's also true. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I'm also really worried about Will Smith because I was watching Independence Day like all weekend, and
Well,
I'm like,
first of
God,
all,
I miss you. so
that Will Smith that Will Smith's terrible. But I gotta tell you, first of all, I trust David Ayer. I trust.
Well, yeah, me
I trust
too.
him implicitly more than I do Zack Snyder. Actually,
Yeah.
I wish he was in charge.
Yeah.
And every little clip I've seen photos I've seen from Suicide
I'm trying
Squad.
to stay away from it.
Really?
Looks incredible. Like
Okay.
Will Smith looks dope.
Okay.
Margot Robbie looks dope. Joker looks dope. I saw a scene with the Joker and Margot Robbie like in the Joker whip, like
Oh
whipping
God,
around.
that
I was
car
like,
is so weird.
I was really into it, so I'm very excited about it. Like, I think that I don't know, I was never really into the Suicide Squad as a
Yeah,
storyline,
me
but
either.
for those of you who don't know, Suicide Squad is basically the 6, the most notorious villains in DC universe are brought together by the government
Yep.
by I forget the name, Amanda something. This is this
Yeah,
woman,
yeah, I know who you're
black
talking
black
about.
woman who they thought was going to be Oprah, but looks like it's Viola Davis.
What?
Now.
I wouldn't
It's
want
rumored
I
it's
wouldn't
gonna
want
be Oprah.
Oprah to do it. I
But it's-
really don't.
it's
Viola Davis is awesome.
Viola Davis, but
tap
brings
that.
them together to do these secret missions that are it's virtually impossible for anyone to compete, and for reduced sentences. This sort of explains the mythology of why is the Joker always out of jail, or why they just put that mug in jail, now he's out. Like what happened?
Right.
It sort of helps explain now how the villains get in and out, so
Yep.
they get commuted sentences.
Yep.
So I don't know. We'll see. You have any thoughts on any of those?
I mean, it's interesting hearing you guys talk about it. Like, I mean, I definitely agree with you, Alexis, in terms of like
Yeah.
DC just staying in their own lane and staying maybe more in the TV world. I feel like they are kind of doing a lot with their future pushes. So, but as it relates to my man
Chadwick.
Chadwick in Black Panther, I think it's going to be a smash.
I think it's gonna be great.
I mean, he's a star. So, and like everything he does, I think he's the to me of those three I spoke of. He's like the young Denzel to me, like in terms of just his range, his ability to me to believe him,
his yielding power as well.
Yeah, like I believe him in everything he does, and he's got real range.
Yeah, he does.
So I like that. Like my man David Oyelowo is got range and he's got accents, but he's like 5'0". So like this movie now where he comes up and he's like escaped convict. And he's like being all hard.
You're like, nah, buddy.
I'm like, I don't know, 5'2".
Looking down.
It's just the behind the scenes stuff. When you're talking, it's like, well, my approach to being a gangster was.
But Tom Cruise is a midget too. So but you believe him in all the Mission Impossible stuff.
I don't know about that, but yeah, I get what you.
Cruise
But I know what you mean.
He's not a midget.
No. I know that he's a midget. I meant like that. He's like this hard guy.
No,
like
Tom
I get
Cruise
that.
is the truth. I just watched Mission Impossible 5 again, and I was like, this dude is the truth. Like, he's so when he runs in that full sprint.
You guys are adorable.
I'm like, get it, Tom.
Get it, Tom. A little bit off topic. Speaking of Tom Cruise, how do you guys feel about him leaving Scientology? Did you hear about that? He wants to leave Scientology to be with his daughter because the church or the organization has told him that he cannot be with his kids.
This is way off topic, but
I want to talk about it later.
Way
but
off
yeah.
topic, but I saw that. I feel like the gears were moved for this about 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. So the wheels are turned on Scientology, and I think that it's Tom's career cannot survive in association with a public association with Scientology.
Nope.
So it meant a lot to him in his career. Also, whatever Scientology has on Tom will destroy you, whatever it is. I think at this point it's sort of a mutual like, look, man, I blew y'all up, y'all blew me up. Let me just go. Keep your millions. I won't say shit. Like, let me out in 5 years.
Yep.
I think now's the time.
I just wanted to pick your guys' brains.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
I'm not. Yeah, I got to study that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not on that one.
This subject I really don't like to talk about.
What, Magic Mike?
I hate Magic
What are you
Mike.
talking about? I thought you periscoped that.
All right. Well,
I do not.
Did you see it?
No, okay. I hate it because people are always like, "Oh, Alexis, you gonna go watch it?" I'm like, "No, male strippers are really gross to me."
Yeah.
Like,
Well, Joe saw it, so let's
Obviously,
hear
Joe
your
saw
review,
it.
bro. Let's hear your review.
Tell me what you
I
thought.
saw Magic Mike too
Ew.
In the theater.
in the theater.
Ew, you paid money for that? Well, I can't say that because a lot of women
I
pay money
did.
for that.
Joe,
Not you.
I was surrounded.
Hold on, look me in my face and tell me you really saw it.
I really saw it. I didn't see it. You make it. No, I didn't see it. I saw that shit.
Okay. Tell me what you thought.
It was a theater full of screaming women and gay dudes. So I felt
course.
very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I bet you did.
I felt very uncomfortable, but
Achilles is like dying right now. iTunes listening.
but I have to tell you, it was entertaining.
It was entertaining. Yeah,
Sure.
every
And
single.
here's the thing about this movie, like
Long dong.
It is.
Ew.
There is no plot. There is virtually no sex. There is
No,
no
it's just
titties.
dancing.
There's not even any shirtlessness really, except for at the
Really?
end. And it's just the guy. It's more of a guy's movie than you think because the whole movie is guys.
Achilles just like I can't.
No, listen.
I can't right
I'm
now.
just getting this review. The whole movie is guys. It's a guy's road trip out being guys, like trying to figure out how to have sex with women. That's the whole movie.
Yeah, I
and then,
figured.
And then but then there's a whole. What I do like about it is there's a whole like there's some real diversity in there because Jada's character they go to this whole like black spot in Atlanta and it's this whole thing. I don't know.
Oh,
but
all right.
I tell you what, I don't know. The dancing's the dancing, whatever. Strahan's in it, and Donald Glover's in it, and a lot of black folks.
Donald Glover's in this movie?
Glover's in
For
it.
what? Is he stripping? He better not.
He's like singing like with his shirt open. When he takes his shirt off, they cut away.
Get out of here.
And so I was telling Achille when I nudged Achille in the theater, I was like, Achille, what do you think of Strahan in the G string? No, but no, I did. I saw it with a good friend
Look
of mine.
at that face.
I agreed to see it. Lost a bet. Agreed to see it.
Damn, that
and
sucks.
I just want to be a man and say, as most reviewers and most male reviewers says, it was an entertaining movie. Channing Tatum's a star.
I'm not.
I won't see it again like at the theater.
You better not.
But I get it.
I mean, I'm not gonna be Achille right now and give you
Right.
shit for it because like
I haven't said a word.
hey, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I'm just saying that me personally, a lot of people just assume, oh, it's a bunch of guys who are getting shirtless and who are cutting blah blah blah.
Yeah, you got that right
here.
here.
Well, yeah, that's why I don't have to go. Duh.
Well, you got to go.
Obviously, but like. Everybody tells me, besides, if you take out the stripping and the dancing and you take out the ridiculous women screaming over panties, whatever.
Right.
Panties?
Well, you know what I mean. Underwear. I don't know. I'm Filipino. Grandma uses panties for everything. But, I would rather see panties flying, just saying.
Right.
But But everybody who's gone straight, gay, bi, whatever, male, female, everybody always tells me they have a good time leaving.
Good time.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, it's actually not the first movie is actually a better movie.
Yeah.
Steven Soderbergh directed the first one. The first one has some story and plot and some real sort of directing and some camera work and some real interesting things happening. This is just like, we're on a road trip. We're going to take off our clothes. We're going to take some ecstasy. And then this is the movie. And then at the end, we're going to all strip, roll credits.
Wow, that's
It's
really it?
It's like 80 minutes long. It's like, all right. But it's fun. I will say that.
I can't.
All right.
Just people make fun of me all the time because they're like, "Oh, you're a woman. You should be into that." And I'm like, I went to Thunder Down Under for a bachelorette party, and I was the only woman who was like uncomfortable.
Down Under.
I was so uncomfortable. I was sitting there the whole time like.
The last time I was in Vegas and I saw Thunder Down Under, I really thought the black dude was.
Anyway,
I've not seen Thunder Down Under. Just for the record, I've not seen Thunder Down Under.
I'm just saying.
I'm retiring from Geek Nerd Tech tonight.
I would rather be at a burlesque show. Give me a big titted woman, and I will be the happiest woman in the world.
You and me both.
Oh yeah.
All right, we're gonna skip our Comic-Con preview. We'll I think I'm gonna dip out there for at least a day or two, so we'll report on that when
You
I
have to
get
tell
back.
me how it goes because I'm gonna be out of town.
Okay,
So.
I'll be out of town too in San Diego.
Wah,
But we'll
wah.
figure that out. I think that's it. No, let's get up out of here on that. On Magic Mike. Yeah, Achilles.
I knew you were gonna do that.
Achilles said, "Let's end on Magic Mike." I was like, "What?" Anyway, where can the people find you, Alexis?
You can find me all over social media, Periscope, Instagram, and apparently not watching Magic Mike, except for Achilles and Joe will be taking my place at ATORS890. Yeah, dude. ATORS890. Please watch me and Joe on our sister network, AfterBuzz TV. For if you love TV shows and you like to talk about them, you can hang out and go to AfterBuzzTV.com, YouTube.com/AfterBuzzTV.
Achilles Shine.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Achilles Shine, AKILISHINE. And I just gotta tell the fans out there, I won't be here next week.
Oh, come on.
Done, apparently.
Hello, Magic Mike. Come on.
No, where can they find you, man?
You can find me in line for Magic Mike.
Oh, God.
Midnight
Magic Mike
showing.
4.
Magic Mike, I'm writing the script for Magic Mike 3 right now. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Periscope at Joe K. Braswell. You can also find me. Yes, I forgot to Periscope the pool party yesterday. That's why Periscope game is weak. I'd be in the middle of stuff. I'm like, I should have Periscope this.
You gotta do it.
I gotta get work on it. You can also find me here on Sister Network, AfterBuzz, doing Hannibal and True Detective, and various other places around the world. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week from Comic-Con Recap. Let's Geek Nerd Tech. Bye.
Boom.
From producers Maria Menounos, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in.
Hollywood redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.